Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to go over my Soulwrest Summoner built as a Guardian. We'll hit the gear first. Obviously, you'll need a Soul Rest. Does not need to be 6 linked, just six socketed. Make sure you run a, where's he at? Level 21 Summon Phantasm support to get up to 21 total minions. And then Anomalous Predator is another important one to get the debuff, since we are converting all of the physical damage over to cold. Other than that, you'll want to run Awakened Elemental Focus, Awakened Control Destruction, Awakened Minion Damage, and Hypothermia. I haven't went through and upgraded all the gems. Damage seems fine as it is. Also using a Devouring Diadem. The enchant for carrying golems is quite a DPS buff. I think you get like 9 or 10% more DPS with it. And here you'll want to do Awaken Generosity. It's pretty cheap. You get +1 to all aura gems with a Hatred, Zealotry, and then Summon Skitterbots. The only important thing on your amulet is you need reduced mana, and then allocate Charisma for more reduced mana. We're kind of doing a little bit of aura stacking. On your rings, pretty much just life, res. You might need a little bit of dex. Make sure you have aspect of the Avian on one of them, and then fire damage to attacks on one of your pieces of jewelry. If you can't get the right piece of jewelry, you can also just use a skill point to get Avatar Fire. Sequal's Nest for the body. Obviously, the only major important thing is the reduced mana reserved. You want to make sure that's perfect. Other ring, unset rings, the best with some gem levels for discipline. And you don't need anything else special on that one. Gloves, we're running 4 green socket triad grip. The ideal corruption on these is +2 curse. Gems, you can get them for 50-60 chaos. I really haven't bothered. Again, not necessary. Running our movement skill in here, dash and second wind, along with sniper's mark for big damage boost. That's what the curse corruption would be for. And then haste and vile haste, and we actually run haste as well. If you wanted to build this a little bit more defensively, you could drop this for a defensive aura, but you're going to lose a green slot, so you might just have to throw a portal gem or something in there. In the chest, we're going to run, this is our Cyclone setup. So we have Cyclone, Cast while channeling, Flesh Offering, Fortify, Desecrate, and Frost Bomb. So pretty standard. Boots, nothing special, just life res, move speed. There's 2 ways you can set this up. I run obviously the Carrion Golem for the buff, Feeding Frenzy for a buff, and then Elemental Army for a buff. I also run Meat Shield just to make him a little tankier. If you want to be a little more active with the build, you can drop Meat Shield and put in Raise Spectre for 2 of the Frenzy Charge Apes. It's quite a big boost to damage. I just don't like having to deal with keeping them up. For mapping, you'll swap in GMP for Hypothermia. It's not a super fast mapping build, but I mean, your move speed's not terrible. And your Phantasms will just follow behind you and pretty much one-shot everything. I usually leave this in for regular map bosses. I just swap it over for like Cyrus and Shaper, stuff like that. Darkness and Throne for the belt. And then you get a little bit of leeway on these jewels. I went the whole damage route pretty much, but you can also do some resistances on here, stats on here if you need it. But life, and then so Phantasms use cast speed to scale. This is the perfect jewel here. And these are super expensive. I crafted this one. I bought the base with life and I believe the added physical, and then I harvest crafted on the attack and cast speed with a speed craft. I might have bought it with the used a skill recently buff also, but if you do get this for all your gems, which we use a lot of them, your damage will be far higher than mine. Other one pretty similar. It just has to obviously have a killed recently tag to get the boost out of it, which isn't great for bosses. Tree, as I said, we're a Guardian, so these 4 are these two are going to be your main damage. We're going to get some elemental resistances here. Permanent onslaught, since we always have at least 5 allies nearby, and then 10% more damage for them. Also going to get, they're going to get 20 increase attack, cast, and movement speed, so they utilize that cast speed and movement speed. Area of effect doesn't matter, and then the unnerve is a big DPS buff as well. I chose to run Bastion of Hope, just for a little bit of block chance. When this is triggered, you're at max block. Without it, I think we're at like 33 without it, 75 with it. And then every time you curse something, you get a little bit of spell block as well. I'm also running Harmony of Purpose. Now the Phantasms do not get the power charges, Frenzy or Endurance charges, but you do. And I mainly just run it for the Endurance charges. I was originally running Radiant Faith, but it really only gives us about 200 ES. Which isn't really that good. And then since we're not doing a low life version with a ton of ores, then we're not really going to benefit from this. I think it gives us like 3 physical damage reduction, and then like 60 or 70 regen, which is kind of useless. You could also run Time of Need if you wanted. Pretty much ignore curses, and you get another life regen every 4 seconds. Our helmet gives us Feast of Flesh, which is every 5 seconds. Pretty much fills us all the way to top on everything. For the rest of the tree, we are running Mind Over Matter. So the Devouring Diadem is kicking our ES over to mana. We're reserving all of our mana, and then the ES is going to be used for the MOM. Also Elemental Equilibrium. Important you have fire damage somewhere. The rest of it, I run 1 cluster jewel setup. If you do, so this one has I think 11 passives. You want, the only main important things are Call, Slaughter, and then the 35 Increase Infect. I got Energy Shield for a little bit more of a buffer for MOM. Life would have probably been better, but I bought it with the Call of Slaughter and Energy Shield already on it. I got lucky with a Regal. For mediums, you want to run Self-Control and Vengeful Commander. So you need at least 2 self-controls to make Discipline free. It doesn't reserve anything when we cast it. And then the others are Vengeful Commander for our Hatred Aura. And then you're going to fill all these out. So as I level, all I have left to do is grab these 2 nodes and then these 3 nodes for a little bit more damage. Other than that, pretty much life, your typical minion clusters here. You can run a Thread of Hope here and grab this without wasting these points. I haven't bothered with it. I threw a damage jewel in here, so it kind of balances out. Grab your life, all your jewel nodes. So in total, this is my character imported. We're running quite a few jewels, as you can see. 1 Atomical Knowledge. This is just an easy one for a handful of life. We get like 180 life off of it, and you can get it as reduced mana reserved. You need 3 jewels total with reduced mana reserved. I get them off of that one, this one, which also has Corrupted Blood. The rest of it's junk. I just bought it for the reduced mana reserved and the Corrupted Blood, and I also have it on this one, I believe. Oh, maybe not. I guess you only need it on 2. You need it on 3 until you get 20 quality on your amulet. So if you use the life and mana modifiers, it'll change the 5 up to a 6 on mana reserved, and then you can drop 1 jewel with reduced mana reserved. For the skills, obviously Phantasm support. There is an alternate way if you want to run with your Spectre, and if you do that, you're going to get quite a bit more damage. So right now we're doing 1.7 million per minion. We have 21 minions, so it puts us at 36.5 million DPS. This version with 52.3 is running the Spectres and then min-max jewels. So basically like the jewel that I showed earlier, for every Jewel socket. I haven't put the cast speed on each one of them yet. You can buy the base with life, the minion damage if you used the minion skill recently, and the 14 to 16 physical damage for 1x or less. And then if you craft on, I don't remember if it's speed. If it's speed or caster. Let's see here. So cast speed, you could get, or if you did caster, you could get this, which wouldn't be ideal. This is the one you want, so maybe, let's see. I know speeds are expensive. Yeah, then you got movement speed blocking you. What about attack? And then you got blind or taunt. So either way, there's going to be a little bit of a toss-up. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3 outcomes, 4 outcomes for attack, 5 for caster. That's still a good one. This or this would be fairly equal. This wouldn't be great. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outcomes on that as well. So either way, you're going to be gambling a bit. I'd probably go caster, because if you hit this one, you're good. If you hit this one, you're good. And then if you hit this, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. Still good for mapping. I think that's about it. I'm going to have some footage at the end of this that shows, I think I got a Cyrus kill on there, Shaper kill, some Maven stuff, and a few other bosses. Thanks for watching.